This week in 40K.
Welcome to This Week in 40K, your 1 hour guide to everything that's happened that's important in competitive 40K in the last week. He's Billy, I'm Colin, and everything in the world is wonderful, right, Billy?
There's the world, I'm not going to even touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But in life, there are some good things and there are some bad things. And we will focus on
I would say that 40K is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that the meta is fun.
Yes.
I would say that it was a really good football weekend.
No, it was not. But,
it was an
maybe
weekend
if you want to say weekend, but it was not a good football day yesterday.
I think I'm just going to have to politely disagree with you.
I have avoided trashing the shit goals. We will not trash the Niners on this show.
Okay. Right. I don't think that that's the name of my football team.
You're allowed to be incorrect.
Okay, well. Fair enough. At least I'm not from a really stupid city. Moving on. Actually, of all the places I've traveled with my wife, I'll just mention that she hated San Francisco the most.
You guys had a particularly atrocious time.
I don't think that it's San Francisco's fault, but my wife does not understand that. So,
and in fairness to you, you're also not from Seattle, so you live in a suburb.
Who's not from Seattle?
You live in a suburb.
I lived in Seattle for years.
Well, we should move on.
Well, you're trying really hard to smack talk, and it's going terribly for you because you're too nice. I think is what the problem is that we're running into.
Punches are being kept in the bag.
Okay.
I don't know how to. It is challenging for me to do this in a way that is not over the top and excessively mean. And given the lack of, for all the new parents out here, they know that the amount you have left before you just go full on burn the world down is incredibly slim. And so I'm holding on to my not burn the world down.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be a fun week to talk about 40K.
I agree. 40K is freaking amazing right now.
All right, here we go.
Our top story.
Maybe this will be better than our low energy meandering intro. What do you think?
All things are possible.
That's right. So, Billy, what's the top story this week?
Billy won an RTT for the first time ever. Woo! Woo! For those who couldn't hear it in the super excited way I said it, both of us went to RTTs this weekend, and neither one of us lost a game, which is a first for me in coming in first place overall on that, though, which for many people who watch this show is not the greatest accomplishment, but for me is literally a first in my life, and I'm going to celebrate it and feel good because feeling good about things is a good thing to feel good about.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any sort of victory food?
No, I have no idea. No, I came home and just sort of like collapsed on the couch because I'm freaking old. And I was also running the RTT and
for some damn reason, your RTTs are on Sundays, which is not good.
It's the time that the stores around here don't have anything else scheduled. And so it works better for seemingly the Bay Area to have our RTTs on Sundays.
Okay. Well, that's dumb, but I accept it. I mean, it is. It's fine. It's acceptable. It's also stupid. Something can be both of those things.
Okay. It's arbitrary which weekend day an event is.
That's fine. Whatever. All right. Let's move on. No, I would like to hear a little bit of a story about Billy winning an RTT.
Well, we talked about last week what our plans were for the RTT, how Colin was going to bring his Dark Angels and Firestorm, and I was going to bring Black Templar.
No, Ultramarines and Firestorm.
Ultramarines and Firestorm, and I was going to bring Black Templar. And I played a game on Tuesday just to get some reps, a rep in with the army I was going to play, and it was kind of just a sack of batteries in a sock that tried to hit you over the head as fast as it could, and it couldn't do anything else. And I started thinking about what the Dark Angels in Vanguard would look like and do, and all of the fun tricks it could pull. And I was like, all right, I'll do that next week after this tournament. And then I looked on my shelf and I realized I literally had every single miniature to run it. So on Thursday at about 6 p.m., I decided that's what I was going to do. So I YOLO'd Dark Angels, and it worked better for me than the most famous YOLO White Scars of 40K-ness. Ironically, the part of it did not kill anything particularly effectively, but boy, did those Deathwing Knights take forever to die in the middle of the table, and I scored a ton of points while it was going on. And that was actually wonderful learning for me on how to actually win 40K games as opposed to tabling your opponent.
Right, because that's what the Vanguard lists do.
Yeah.
They hit hard, like all Marine lists do, and they're fairly durable, but the reality is that they play the mission redonkulously well.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
And basically porting the Art of War list, and in some conversations around with people, the sense is that there's 2 pieces too much of mission play in that list and 1 piece too little of killy. And I would broadly agree with that, but at the same time, that much mission play means you're going to be up 40 points on the scoreboard before your opponent can start to do anything. So...
well, fun. And then my plan last time we spoke was to speed paint. I've been doing a bad job of motivation in my life the last little while here. And I thought, I want to go. I want to play this Marine list. I want to learn about it. I want more Marines painted. I need something to do the next few days. So I spent Wednesday and Thursday and Friday painting 2,000 points of Marines. The only thing that I had painted already was 3 Plasma Inceptors. So that's 220 points, yeah. And then
is 110.
No, what? Yeah, but I had 6. I had 6.
Oh, well, okay.
And then the rest of the army needed to get painted. So I spent about 5 hours a day on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I airbrushed the army. So I zenithalled it. I airbrushed it. I put 5 colors on the army. I just kind of decided this is how many colors I'm going to do in the spirit of getting done. And so if any model gets beyond 5 colors, he has to wait, was basically what I did. And I got it all painted, which was really exciting. And I got it all based. And I even had time to black rim the bases, which is one of my most important things. I think they look terrible if you don't black rim the base.
It really pulls the model together, that one simple step.
I agree. And so I had a chance to do that, and then realizing I had time left, I had a chance to go back through and wash all the gold. I washed, because my army is purple and gold, I washed the gold with a purple wash. And it makes the gold look a little coppery and just a little bit dirty. And the little bit dirty works really well because I'm a terrible painter. So I got it ready. I love how it looks.
Yeah, it looks good.
The core, I was going to bring pictures. I'll try to bring pictures next week. The core issue that I ran into with painting is that I airbrush with an ink, and it's a heavy ink, and it's really cool. We use it in our Elder Army. There's some use of it in our Tyranidan Army, and I use it primarily for the Space Marine Army. And it's great, but you can't paint it with a paintbrush. No. It just doesn't work.
That's tough.
And so what happens is you make your model look really cool, and you go to trim your Space Marine with gold trim, and you get the gold on the purple, and then you're done, and you don't know what to do. So my wife and I are going to try to come up with like have you ever seen the little pens that you put leftover paint in after you paint a room, so that later you can just go whoop on the wall? We need one of those. We need to make some sort of patch paint that works with our purple.
that would work. Apparently, also silly putty or painter's putty is a good thing. You could just sort of put it on the rim, and but that might be more effort than what you're looking for. Yeah.
Sorry, I had a sinus explosion. So I went to the RTT, 22 people. I played Firestorm, Ultramarines. I had 2 units of 6 aggressors, Calgar and his buddies with one of the aggressor units. I had 2 impulsors with the flame guys inside of them. I had a Land Raider Redeemer that had 6 of the aggressors inside of it. I had 2x3 Plasma Inceptors, the Lieutenant, the combo Lieutenant guy who just stands around and is a lone operative.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 Devastators and a Razorback, which was one of my favorite things that the army had, by the way. So really neat army, runs at your opponent, does all types of cool stuff. I absolutely loved it. Oh, 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts as well. I played against Blood Angels, and then against Votan, and then against Death Guard. And the Death Guard game was a really, really good lesson in 40K for me. Because I pushed too hard early and I was up by about 30 and I thought I could just, relax a little bit. I'm going to win the tournament. Let's relax a little bit. And I didn't play well in the final 2 turns of the game and let my opponent back in. And we ended up with a 69-69 tie, which made all of the 12-year-old gamer nerds giggle at the tournament, which I thought was great.
Yep.
So I went 2-0-1 and got 4th place. Perfectly happy with that performance. I wasn't trying to win the RTT. I mean, I was trying to win the RTT, but it wasn't the goal. The goal was to get 3 games with my Firestorm list and see what I think. We'll talk about it more on other shows, but my general observation is that Ironstorm might be the best. Don't really know. It's certainly the easiest to play and the most straightforward. I think that Vanguard has the most jank and might be the best army for high-end play for Marines. And then in the middle there is a mixture of jank and aggression, which is the Firestorm list. And so that's how I'm seeing it, is that Firestorm's kind of a compromise between I want to run a bunch of Dreadnoughts that just murder you, and I'm going to play the mission well. I think Firestorm does those 2 things well together. So that's where I ended up with the RTT.
I would broadly agree with that. I would just add that Gladius probably sits right next there to Firestorm in that it can go in a bunch of directions way.
Oh, yeah, Gladius is still good. There's no reason that it's not. It's slightly less good because of the Oath change, but it's still good.
Yeah, Gladius contemplates Oath as reroll wounds. The others clearly don't. And then it's just your mileage may vary on what you can shove in the list.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to what's new.
Yep.
What's new?
No song today. What's new?
You're not gonna call me a pussycat? I'm kind of disappointed. So what's new? There are a few things that are new. There was a MetaWatch article, video that came out last week that I watched, so you don't have to, and I'll tell you like the 4 important things in the 20-minute video. One, and broadly, and something we want to echo here, is the meta's in great shape. There are 3 armies that are outside their Goldilocks zone. And there was no call there for a second.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm having a little bit of a problem. Keep talking.
Okay. 3 armies outside the Goldilocks zone, and none of them are drastically out. Eldari Orcs, ironically, are the next highest. And then down at the bottom are Drukhari. But they're all relatively close. So that was the one piece saying that they would keep an eye on those. The other piece that's important to note is that they said there will be no points or data slate until January. That's the next time we're getting something. The last thing that they talked about was what the last data slate did and how they very intentionally took just a job. They called it a big choppa to the meta because they're 40K players and they don't say, sledgehammer, they say big choppa. But they were pretty pleased with it, that they probably need to tone Eldar down a little bit more, which I actually think is probably unfortunately true. Just personally punt Night Spinners into the sun because they're not fair. And they also said that Custodes might have been hit a little too hard. But then also the fact that the codexes are coming out and that they're having a good effect on the meta and that they think Necrons and AdMech will get to continue that. So that was broadly, if from listening to this, you got everything you needed from the MetaWatch video.
Can we compliment GW?
Yes.
On the first 2 codexes?
Yes.
I think we can. And I think the idea that every codex makes you more powerful than every previously released codex, I don't see that at all right now. I think the Marine Codex is fantastic. I think it's a really neat book that has a lot of play. I don't have any of my kind of high-end competitive friends complaining to me that Marines aren't okay. None of that.
In either direction.
In fact, the Tyranid win rate, last I saw, was under 50% with their new book, which I think is preposterous, but that's a topic for another day. So yeah, I think that the meta's in a really good place. I think they've done an excellent job on the first 2 books, and we're so hard on them as a community, and so ready to tar and feather GW that I think it's worthwhile to say, hey, these books are great. Yeah. And frankly, 10th edition is in a much better place than it was when it first came out. Yeah. All the changes they've made seem solid. I'll admit that at the RTT, I still got confused about the rules a few times because I've got too many editions in my head.
Sure.
But like my opponent goes, I can charge through my Rhino with my infantry in the charge phase, right? And I had this moment where I'm like, my brain answered no. However, it's important to note that that rule has been different several different ways in the past 6 years of competitive 40K.
The current rule is that vehicles and monsters can't go through other vehicles and monsters, but everything else in your army goes through each other, right?
But not in the charge phase.
Oh, really? It's just movement phase.
I think that those, and I didn't look this up, but what I was told at the tournament. So like, sometimes you get told a ruling at a tournament and your brain goes, fine, let me finish my game of 40K, and then you don't remember to look it up. What I was told is that all that only works in the movement phase. The other thing I learned that I didn't know is that everywhere it says as though it were the shooting phase, that sentence doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything because you're not actually allowed to use strats that are only for the shooting phase in Overwatch, as an example.
So that, I would say that would be very TO dependent because that's
no, the designer's commentary is clear.
Oh, if it's in the designer's commentary, okay, then that's just very bad writing on GW's part because that's an ambiguous enough sentence that it can mean both things.
Also true. However, we like GW, and this is a positive show today. So that would be my one. That might be my one criticism.
Okay. Two more pieces of new news. Holiday box sets were announced.
Oh, these are always a really good deal, folks.
They are, unless you play Space Marines, because you're never really going to use all the things that are in it. The World Eaters ones looks cool. It's Angron and actually a bunch of useful things. I don't know enough to speak about other ones. The Votan one looked good. I think I heard some people say good things about both the Nids and Orcs. And I forget.
I kind of want to play World Eaters.
I want to play World Eaters, but I want to play 9th edition World Eaters that actually hit hard. Angron looks awesome. And then the last piece of new news is a bunch of old minis will be made to order. If you have a serious nostalgia kick for things that are about half the size of their modern equivalent and want to just show off the height of the mid-90s model design philosophy, they're available to you.
Okay. No, I'm not going to tell that story. Let's move on.
What's winning?
You see, when you have Colin's brain, Colin's brain is often not thinking about the words that Colin is saying. We've already figured out what we're going to say, and we've moved on to the next topic. And so sometimes I start telling a joke or a story on one of the shows, and I get a few words in, and my brain goes, awooga, you should not be talking about this. That's what just happened. So
is that the noise that Genie makes when he's taking them out of the pit and turns into a submarine in Aladdin?
I don't know. Awooga does sound like a submarine noise now that I've said it out loud. It sounds like maybe the official submarine noise, but maybe not.
Okay.
Hey, could I just say something ridiculous?
I can't stop you.
It's Halloween season. My family loves Halloween movies. We watch them every year. We watch new ones every year. Meg 2 is terrible. But the most important thing to note is that last night we watched Slaughterhouse, which is a sloth-based horror movie where a pet sloth gets mad and murders everyone. If you have ever laughed at a horror movie in your entire life, will you please watch Slaughterhouse and report back? Because my family, we haven't watched a movie as a family where everyone laughed that much in so long. There's so many movies we'll put on where part of the family is just like, all right. or it's a comedy that no one laughs at, and then at the end the kids are like, "That was a great movie," and I'm like, "You didn't laugh." Anyways, so I just wanted to share that people should watch Slaughterhouse.
Where do
There's
they find
a trailer on YouTube.
It's a
What?
YouTube movie? Where do you find
It's on Hulu.
Okay, Hulu.
Yes, Slaughterhouse. It's 90 minutes long, as all horror movies should be. Like, you only need so much time for the bad guy to kill people before you have to stop him, right?
I would imagine with a sloth you would need more time, but
he's actually quite fast, not to spoil too much in the movie. Okay, it's amazing. Okay. Oh, Nurgle Matthew says, definitely watch the trailer. It's hilarious. It is. It's fantastic. Okay. Now we're going to do the part of the show where we talk about what's winning at 40K, which is not the same part as when Colin tells you to watch sloth-based horror movies. There's also a movie that we're intending to watch that's on Hulu that's called Winnie Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, jeez.
And the premise is that Christopher Robin goes back to is it called the 100-Acre Wood? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
He goes back to the 100-Acre Wood, and they're all mad that he left, and they and Winnie the Pooh murders everyone. That movie also exists. Which made me wonder if Winnie the Pooh is in what's it called? Public domain? Is that what it's called, Billy?
Yeah, it went into public domain relatively recently.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
And that means that the family just isn't trying anymore? Isn't that,
no,
is that how it works?
I think someone can correct me on this, but it's like 100 years after a story comes out, the original creators lose exclusivity to the license and anyone can use it. It's like why there are a ton of Sherlock Holmes things. Because
I thought you could keep I thought you could keep it going. I thought that's why Happy Birthday is still expensive. Oh,
I could be very wrong.
If you guys don't know, it costs a lot of money to sing Happy Birthday on a TV show, which I think is an amazing fact in the world. Happy Birthday is owned, and when you use it publicly, you have to pay the rights to the people that own it.
Happy Birthday could also be young enough.
Oh, fair.
It wouldn't have gone into public domain.
Okay. So years ago, Billy, when I was just a mere lad of my late 30s, I went to the SoCal Open.
Yes.
I, in fact, went to the first SoCal Open, Billy. And it was my second tournament ever, and I went 5-1, losing only to this person who ended up going second place. It was fantastically fun. My wife and her friend and our friends went to the beach and got drunk on mimosas. And ate tacos all day, and I played 40K, and then we ate more tacos in the evening. It was a fantastic trip. Every year that we see the results for SoCal Open, I say, why am I not going to this tournament? The answer this year is that it's player place terrain. Hey-oh! Okay. I didn't actually set that joke up, Billy. It's just the joke that came.
Oh, no. I thought if you did a good setup job because I knew where you were going.
Well, we intended to not make fun of player place terrain, but then I set myself up so well I had no choice. We don't like player place terrain. However, it is perfectly fine to have multiple terrain formats in a competitive game. So first up is the SoCal Open, 190 players, 6 rounds in Del Mar, California. I remember the first year they advertised it, they said it's literally on the beach. It's not literally on the beach. I remember people being upset about that. Pretty funny.
No one would want to play 40K in the sand. It would be fun for 5 minutes, and then you'd hate your life. If
you guys don't know this, 40K outside is terrible.
It really is.
Any amount of wind is not okay. Okay. So, SoCal Open was won by Arthur II with the army that Billy just told us does not hit hard.
It wasn't won by CSM?
It said Word Bearers. Is it not Word Bearers?
World Eaters.
Oh, Word Bearers. Man, guys, I've been playing 40K for 30 years, and that still gets me. All right.
Yeah, Word Bearers is just a fake thing now.
Yeah, I know. But that's not what my brain told me. Look, it's 7:30 in the morning here, folks. Okay.
I'm 2 cups of coffee in. I don't know about you. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
I have my caffeine chocolate here from our unofficial sponsor, Awake. All right. So this is a Chaos list with a Chaos Lord, Dark Commune. I love those units. They're so neat. Master of Possession. 2 units of 10 cultists, 3 rhinos, 2 units of accursed cultists. I like them too. And then you've got the 3x10. Actually, this is only 2x10 chosen to go in those rhinos. I would imagine the other Rhino has the 2x5 Noise Marines in it.
Mm-hmm. That's a spicy bit because the big guns shoot out those firing decks.
They do. And then 4 Obliterators, which hit redonkulously hard, and 2x3 Nurglings. We're seeing CSM do extremely well. It is the right mixture of durability and aggressive power mixed with just enough mission play. Is kind of my read of it. Have you gotten to see the CSM stuff at all, Billy? Do you have an opinion on it?
I have actually. My main practice partner, who moved away for a little bit, started the edition on CSM, and I didn't know why it didn't do well up until the Eldar nerfs. It absolutely always felt to me like it had top tier level power, and with everything else coming down, it does not surprise me in the least. Marks, so things critting on 5s is ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, so next up, we have another Chaos list. And this Chaos list belongs to James Carmona, one of the competitive 40K people we talk about who's been in the game longer than me. And he had Abaddon, and then a Dark Commune, and then Harkin World Claimer, who we never get to see on the table and has a really dope new model, right, from like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then a unit of Cultists, a unit of Accursed Cultists, a unit of Chaos Terminators, only 5 of them, by the way, 2 Forge Fiends, a Hellbrute, 5 Noise Marines, 4 Obliterators, and a unit of Raptors. Again, pretty much the things that are good in Chaos are showing up, and Chaos is just performing. Okay?
Yep.
Third place is Ruben Zhao. Was this tournament Codex Space Marine or not, Billy?
Yes, because I see an Iron Storm list down there at 11.
Okay. So this is Blood Angels as Gladius, which is what it's called White Angels. Apothecary Biologist, Tech Marine, Aggressors, Assault Centurions, 3 of them, that's interesting. 3 Eradicators, 2x3 Inceptors. These look like, 1 of each, Plasma, 1 Assault Bolters. Guys, if you're wondering, I don't think there's a right answer there. I think if you like the Bolter ones, take the Bolter ones. If you like the Plasma ones, take the Plasma ones. They do slightly different jobs from each other, but they're both good for their points. Incursors, Infiltrators, Normal Land Raider with the Godhammers, Librarian Dreadnought, Repulsor Executioner, Scout, Thunderstrike, Whirlwind. I don't know why this list got second place. This person is, or third place. This person, Ruben, is likely an incredible player.
It's a mishmash of good Marine stuff.
I guess, but it's, I mean, yes, okay. I don't know why this army is any better than it was 3 weeks ago.
That I would agree with.
So, fourth place is Alex Spathopoulos. I'm guessing, but I don't know. Alex, if I got your name wrong, I apologize, but it looks to be fantastic. So, good job on having a great last name. Okay, Dark Angels. I bet there's going to be Deathwing Knights in this list. What do you think?
I assume that's the reason you do Dark Angels, unless you're...
All right, so this is the Unforgiven Task Force, which means that this person is running the actual terrible Dark Angels Task Force. And he's got an Ancient and Terminator armor, Azrael, a Lieutenant with a combi weapon. Then he's got a unit of 10 Deathwing Command Squad, a unit of 10 Hellblasters, a unit of Inceptors, a Dark Shroud, of all things, 3 Repulsor Executioners, I only noticed 2, and then Scouts and a Calidus.
You didn't say Deathwing Knights.
What's that?
You didn't say Deathwing Knights.
No, there's no Deathwing Knights in that list.
Okay.
Wow, SoCal Open, you're a wildly weird tournament, aren't you?
Well, let's actually take a moment here. We sort of made fun of player place terrain, but player place terrain fundamentally changes what you want to do with your army list. You can skew yourself much harder one way or another, especially if you know how to set up the terrain properly. And it's just going to lead to different things performing.
I have a premise. I think that they just don't have the correct detachment names for their detachments. Maybe because of when lists were due compared to when the app was updated. I don't know.
What, you think that one's the Iron Hands one?
Well, it doesn't make sense that all of these Marine lists are all Gladius, which they all say that almost all of them say they are. So I don't know. Okay, well, fine. So next up is Mike McTire, Blood Angels, Ben Jurek, our buddy McJurek in 6th with Eldari, then Tyranids, Admech, Leagues of Votan, and Chaos Space Marines. So pretty good finish. Very different meta from what we've been seeing. I don't know if that's going to be player place terrain. Probably is.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Battlefield Birmingham? No, Sweden's next, right?
Yeah, Malmo Wargaming.
Yes. Malmo Wargaming Weekend 7 in Skane?
Skane is how I would guess, but who knows?
Won by Jesper Unander Sharon. I looked at that last night and I really was optimistic I was going to be able to say it. He had Eldar, which is weird to see Eldar doing well. Autarch Wayleaper, Farseer, Spirit Seer. Rangers, 3x5 Shadow Specters. Swooping Hawks, Warp Spiders, 10 Wraithguard, and 2 Night Spinners. If you get to pick where your terrain is, and you can put a big piece of terrain in the middle of the table that can be phantasmed and fire and faded behind, I think that 10 Wraithguard are a real problem for your opponents. Oh, this is a player place terrain.
No,
sorry.
But if it's GW terrain, same principle. There's always something for them to bind in the middle.
Very true. Second place was Javala, Eldar. That's not his last name. Hold on. Oh, that's the name of the list. Jesus, Colin. Sorry, everybody. I'm a little disorganized. Joel Larson in second place with Eldar. My computer is having the problems. Hold on. I'm going to reopen BCP because it's crashing all over the place for me.
That's disappointing.
At the tournament this weekend, we weren't able to use the app. We had to use the website for BCP.
You have to use the website now as a TO. The TO app doesn't work anymore.
Oh, really?
By intention.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Here is the second Eldar list. He does a theme song with a YouTube video. I enjoy that. If anybody's wondering, it's Black Sabbath, Selling My Soul, which is a good song. Autarch Wayleaper, Avatar of Cain, Farseer Incarn, so double avatar. Mm-hmm. Hornet, Night Spinner, Shadow Specters, Warwalker, Warp Spider. Okay. I'm sorry that we're not going to talk about your list more, Joel. Frankly, those are the things that do well in Eldar. Yeah. Third place.
I'll be right back.
Sebastian Larson with Chaos Space Marines. Billy's on baby duty, so we'll let him walk off. And this is a dark commune, 2 dark communes, no other characters, which is kind of wild. And then he's got a cultist mob, 2x3 cursed occultists, 2x1 forge fiends, 2x4 obliterators, 3x5 warp talons, and 3x3 nurglings. The only part of this I think is surprising is that there's no actual characters, only the dark communes. That's the only part of that I think is really interesting and strange. Next up is Axel Ryden, who also had Eldari, which is a thing. Autarch Farseer Incarn, 3x5 Dark Reapers. They're kind of neat because the Tempest Launcher is actually quite good, and Eldar get a reroll, so you kind of got this good indirect fire for 80 points, and then eventually they walk through the wall and just shoot something. So they're pretty cool. He's got 3 Night Spinners, which seems like a heck of a lot. That's a lot of indirect fire. Then he's got the 2 units of Shadow Specters, and then 2 D cannons and a unit of Warp Spiders. Basically, that's the first all-in indirect fire Eldar list we've seen in a really long time. And finally, 5th place is Iron Warriors, then Tyranids, then Genes to the Cult, then Eldari, then Leagues of Votan, then Ultramarines. So again, a really good mixture. Billy, I'm having are you babied over there?
Well, my daughter's. Yes, she's in my lap, and she was hitting my mouse, so I don't know what's happening. Which event did you get to?
No, I'm gonna do England right now.
Okay.
Battlefield Birmingham 21. That's probably just the number of tournaments they've done this year, based on our experience with England.
Yeah, that's how things roll.
Hal Solwen, England, 68 players, 5 rounds. Here we go. My browser continues to not work. Richie Ballon got first place with Orcs. Wog! This is the one I haven't looked at yet. Let's see. Gazgul, 3 war bosses for 65 points apiece. I love those guys. 2 by 10 Beast Negas, 3 by 10 Boys, a unit of Burna Boys, 3 by 10 Gretchen, 1 unit of 3 Meganobs, 1 unit of 2 Meganobs, 2 by 5 Storm Boys. I actually didn't know Meganobs come in units of 2 really. 2 by 5 Storm Boys, 2 Battle Wagons, and 5 trucks. Really, really neat list. And it just is, orcs just run at you while playing the mission, and they're very good right now. And that's that basically. Next up is Lee Smith with Chaos Space Marines. Abaddon, Chaos Lord Dark Commune. We're seeing some patterns here. Cultist Bob, Legionnaires, which we didn't see in the other lists. Accursed Cultist, Chaos Bikers. Marine Bikers don't exist anymore. But Chaos Bikers, Chosen, Forge Fiend, and then 2 units of Obliterators, 2 units of 2 Obliterators, and then a unit of Urglings and the Changeling. Again, really good offensive power while being good at the mission. Third place is our first time seeing Tau this week with Billy Sutter. And his Tau list is 3 commanders in Cold Stars with Sibs. Actually, the third one has Plasma. Then broadside. 1 unit of 6 Crisis, 1 unit of 2 units of 3 Crisis, 2 Ghost Keels, 3 Piranhas, and 2 Tetras. Those are the things that are good in Tau.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to shoot people off the board by being incredibly fast and incredibly fragile, that's your list.
Yes.
Fourth place is Matt Bell with Grey Knights, which is fun to see. Brother Captain, Brother Librarian, Castellan Crow. Let's see, 5 Terminators, 5 Strike Squad, 2 by 3 Inceptors. Inceptors are great. These aren't, Interceptors. These are the Grey Knight ones.
Yeah.
2 by 5. 5 Paladins, a Purgation Squad, a Purifier Squad, and then allied in is Codiez and an Inquisitorial Henchman unit. Pretty neat. I will comment that 5th place is also Grey Knights, which I think is interesting. And the list is extremely similar from what I saw. Let me just double check. Slightly more Terminators, and it doesn't have the allies. Okay. That's it for me. And off to Billy.
So I got the Dragon's Lair Open in Houston, Texas, which was 58 players, 6 rounds, won by Jared Gomez playing Gladius Marines. Jared likes his lieutenants, 2 regular lieutenants, 1 lieutenant in Phobos armor, 1 lieutenant with a combi bolter, Marnies Calgar, 6 Blade Guard veterans, 1 Brutalis Dreadnought, 2 Gladiator Lancers, 10 Hellblasters, 3 Plasma Scepters, 5 Incursors, 10 Infiltrators, 5 Scouts, and a Whirlwind. No bolter aggressors in there. Instead, you get a Blade Guard veteran. It's an interesting take. I would have some thoughts, but Jared did better than I've ever done. So who am I to say the nay? Second place, we got Eric Tatt with a blast from the past, GSC, an army we have not talked about recently, but still has damage in it. Biophagus Nexos, 3 Primus, 1 Saboteur, 10 Demo Acolytes, 90 Neophytes, 10 Aberrants, and 2 Ridge Runners. We will get to another GSC later that just flips the Neos and Demo Acolytes on their head. They still, if you don't know how to play against GSC, they're going to beat you.
Well, I don't know if they're going to beat you, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Third place, I had a lot of guard this week. Nathaniel Bjorg brought guard. Everyone is bringing Gaunt's Ghosts. Everyone is bringing Solar, and everyone is bringing a command squad, and then it starts to change. Nathaniel brought 2 Engine Seers, an infantry squad, a Bane Sword, 3 Hellhounds, 5 Ratlings, 2 Dorns, and 2 5s of Scions. So Nathaniel likes some big tanks.
It's true.
Yes. Fourth place, Apollo Chang, Eldari, Wayleaper, Farseer Fugan, Spirit Seer Incarn, 3 Night Spinners, because only Apollo gets to have fun in this game, 2 5s of Hawks, 2 5s of Spiders, and 10. I'm sorry, what?
Okay, we lost you for a little while. Welcome back.
Hi. What did you hear last?
I think we heard enough about the list. Okay. It's Eldar, so you can go on.
It's Eldar with 3 Night Spinners. Next event, Warzone 3 Taverns in Decatur, Georgia. I really hope that there are taverns involved in that. This list was New Space Marines, and TJ Spaeth brought himself a spicy one. Black Templar in an Ironstorm detachment. That's actually one of the ways to do Ironstorm well, because Black Templar just get a bunch of free multi-meltas. So, 2 Tech Marines. Here's a good one. Do you know what a regular Crusader squad is from Black Templars, Colin?
I do.
Okay.
But only because you showed me Black Templar lists and told me to study like a week ago.
Okay. Well, I actually hadn't studied this part of it. They're 13 point per model TAC Marines that get a whole bunch of weapons on them. So 5x5 of those, las cannons, power fists, flamers, 2 chain swords, 65 points. I'm reevaluating everything I'm doing with Black Templars. It's just true. 1 Ballistus Dreadnought, 2 Lancers, 2 Gladiator Lancers, 2 Gladiator Reapers, an Invictor's Scout Suit, 5 Scouts, a Storm Thunderstrike, a Calidus Assassin, and an Eversor Assassin.
Wow.
So,
really, an Invictor?
I mean, if it gets the free reroll in there, it's forward pressure.
No, it's fine. It's just a thing.
When you can get, 25 bodies for what, like 300 points.
How many points is the Invictor?
I think it's like 150, 160 now.
Ugh, more than the Ballistus. Okay.
It is. But it can punch something, and everyone should have something that can punch something.
Sure,
next, but that can't forward deploy, Colin.
Okay.
It is better. Ryan Shaw brought Guard, Gonsko, Solar, 3 Tank Commanders, 20 Catachin, 2 Chimeras, 2 Basilisks, 6 Bulgrins, which I actually saw more of than I thought I was going to, a Leman Russ Eradicator, a Dorn, and a Scout Sentinel. Slightly more.
This is a person who doesn't understand how orders work, I think. I don't believe tank commanders can order themselves or each other.
Can they order the Eradicator, the Basilisks, or the Dorn?
Oh, there's Basilisks as well?
2 Basilisks.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Then he's fine. Okay.
Yes.
There were not enough vehicles for his vehicle orders.
Okay, gotcha. Hi,
Okay.
There's a baby. She wants to see the screen.
Oh, that baby's really cute.
Yep. Then we got in 3rd place, Stephen Toski with World Eaters. Fairly straightforward army. Angron, 2 Demon Princes, 50 Jackals, 3 Predator Destroyers, and 2 5s of Terminators. I was not expecting the Predator Destroyer to be the thing that put World Eaters up over the top, but it did in this case. So good job, Stephen. And then more Guard by Chris Daly, Gonsko Solar Command Squad, 2 Tank Commanders, 20 Catachins, 10 Infantry, 2 Chimeras, 6 Bulgrins, a Leman Russ Demolisher, Leman Russ Eradicator, Raper Laser Destroyer, 1 Dorn, 3 Scout Sentinels. That's that event. 2 more events.
Guard is really interesting, Billy. I've been playing Guard as kind of my mess around army when I'm trying to help other friends be better at kind of improve their 40K when I'm kind of trying to doing a coaching or just a friendly game.
Yep.
And Guard hits really hard, like really hard. Like Guard, I don't think people appreciate that. And it's got so much stuff that you get to hold the table. I put people in chimeras and throw them out and move block people and stand on things. It's a much neater army than I think people give it credit for. I don't think it's dumb. I don't think it's 2-dimensional. And I don't think that it's bad. So just some thoughts on Guard as a person who owns a very large Guard army.
Okay. All of those things make sense to me. I think a lot of it is there might be other things that do Guard better than Guard, like Eldar just sort of Guard better than Guard.
Well, okay. Eldar is the worst written codex in a long time. That's a terrible example. Everybody can't just play Eldar.
That's perfectly fair. Give me one. All right. My wife is leaving and I have a baby. Life is good.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Toronto Fall Open.
Toronto Fall Open in Toronto. That's where they keep Toronto. Canada, 54 players.
There's probably like a Toronto, Idaho as well, but fine.
Yeah, America has every city name in it. It's like, you ever see those memes, European travel for Americans where you just like drive around the South randomly and you go to all the cities in Europe? It's a thing.
There's a Toronto in Ohio.
There you go. Toronto, Ohio. So Brian Crothers won this with CSM. Largely this is pretty close to like the one that was established at London GT. 3 lords, well, I guess not. 3 lords, 2 dark communes. Each of the lords have 20 total chosen in 10-5-5. The dark communes have 2 occultist blobs. The chosen get to ride around in their 2 rhinos. There are 2 forge fiends, 2 obliterators, 2 threes of nurglings, and a changeling. Dustin Henshaw was the other GSC player. He came in second that I was going to talk about.
Have I talked about how much I adore Dustin in too long? Should I? The shirt I'm wearing is from the Canhammer Team Tournament where I got to play against Dustin, and he's an amazing human being that I adore. That's all. Go ahead.
Okay, Dustin seems great. There's also a great baby in my lap. She will try to touch the mouse. That's not a good thing. 2 color morphs, Nexos, 2 Primus, 3 Reductus,
2 color
single
morphs. What a hero.
Sanctus. Olivia, yes, you are adding your commentary. 10-5-5-5, so 25 demo acolytes, 40 Neos, 2 Goliaths, 5 Aberrants, and a Ridge Runner. Cody Brown brought Sisters. I now understand how Sisters are good. My friend Marshall at the event this week who played Sisters explained to me how Sisters were good. And a lot of it revolves around this Palatine who's sitting here that lets you spike damage in a weird and interesting way, on top of just having them getting cheap enough that they have enough stuff. So Marshall, there's your shout out. But Cody brought the Imagifier, Junith, Morven, Palatine that does crazy damage, and Celestine, 30 Battle Sisters, 2 Immolators, 2 Cassies, 2 Death Cult Assassins, 2 Mortifiers, 3 Nundums, 5 Retributors, 5 Seraphim, 10 Novitiates, and a Calidus Assassin. Like, you can just fit a lot of ladies in a list, and there are still enough things in them that hit hard. So there's Sisters for you. And then Conrad Moitka with Eldar, double avatar list with Fugin, Wayleaper, Farseer, 5 Reapers, 2 5s of Spectres, 2 5s of Spiders, 3 Hornets, and a Night Spinner. I will always have a soft spot for the double avatar list, and I'm kind of sad I never got to play it. And my wife is definitely going to miss her boat. Well, we'll see. We got the last event is the Alba GT 2023 in, oh boy, Székesfehérvár, Hungary.
Székesfehérvár.
Sure. I think you just sneeze a bunch and then you say Hungary.
Okay. You talk about the tournament. I'm going to go have Google teach me how to say it.
Okay. This was won by Mate Sazar with Admech. We have not said Admech much, but by saying Admech, we basically have just not said Drukari, and we've talked about every major other faction. 3 Manipulists, 30 Vanguard, a Dune Rider, 3 solo Laz Chickens, 3 solo Dragoons, 3 6s, bye my dear, 3 6s of Breachers, 2 5s of Flappy Boys, 3 Dogs, and 5 Infiltrators. I really hope this army was painted beautifully because that's an army that could look amazing on the table. We have Adam Puztai. So I'm going to decide that one said. Eldari. Adam is someone who believes fun is just for himself because this is triple Night Spinner Eldari with an avatar. Yes. Olivia doesn't like triple Night Spinner Eldari either. Oh, she really doesn't like it. Sorry, that's very funny to me. 2 5s of Hawks, 2 5s of Spiders, 2 Warwalkers, 10 Wraithguard. All right. Tomislav, do you know how to say this word now?
I don't know because I have. I want to read it phonetically, but instead there's 700 YouTube videos.
Okay. Can you just like put it into Google and click the pronounce thing?
Well, if I'm willing to listen to here, hold on. We've got 6 minutes for you to talk about like 2 lists. Hold on.
Yeah.
See sketch the okay, hold on, I have to hear it again. Székesfehérvár.
Székesfehérvár. Okay,
yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
It colloquially has a nickname, which translates to White Castle. So when Harold and Kumar are going to White Castle, they are in fact going to Hungary.
Okay, because they are hungry. And
because they're so hungry, they have to go to White Castle. Oh man,
I have a baby in my lap. I get to make that dad joke.
No, that was amazing. I love that very much.
All right. last two lists. Tomislav Turek brought Tyranids in an invasion. 2 Brood Lords, 1 Death Leaper, 2 Neuro Tyrants, 2 Tens Gene Stealers, 2 Neurolictors, 2 Norn Emissaries, which is just my favorite new miniature that's come out in a solid
Oh, it's so good. It's not as
3
cool as the
Pyro
new Death
Forward.
Leaper, which I think is one of the coolest models in years. But it's
The
really
combination of those two things, one of them should win Mini of the Year, and the other one should be the runner-up.
Death Leaper should win Mini of the Year. The Death Leaper Mini, I've seen it up close now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're both fantastic.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
So after those 2 Norn Emissaries, 3 Pyrovores, a Ripper Swarm, and 2 6s of Tyrant Guard, which seems fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then finally we have Dejan Filipovic with Eldar. This is just the list. Wayleaper, Farseer, Fugan, Solitaire, Spirit Seer. See, Olivia doesn't like these Eldar lists. Spirit Seer, Incarn, 2 Night Spinners, 5 Hawks, 15 Spiders, and 10 Wraith Guard. You know.
She does look alarmed at the number of Eldar lists we talked about.
Yeah, she doesn't get to look at many screens, and now she's looking at screens, and so she's saying hi.
Well, I wanted to share that this is still a network that's free, and we're still doing all these things for you. And I just wanted to remind everybody they can go to either Patreon or YouTube, and they can become a subscriber of us, and they can support us with a small amount of money each month. And we will then keep doing all this programming for you, and we'll also let you into our Discord, which is a great place. There is a Blood Bowl 3 league starting. There is a fantasy football thing going on. And in addition to all of that, I wrote up an RTT tournament report that I posted in Discord. Very good. So we're trying to, get a lot of content in there for y'all. We certainly love all of your support. Thank you, everyone. He's Billy, and I'm Colin, and we're done with, and she's Olivia. Mm-hmm. And we are done with This Week in 40K until next week. From the show that is neither grim nor dark, about the grimdark, he is Billy. I am Colin, because someone has to be, and unfortunately at the moment that's me. And no, my life is perfectly fine. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back Tuesday. Bye now.
Bye.